Well, that's embarrassing. My apologies if you watched the first video. You can tell that I'm not a YouTuber. Um, but yes, my name's Liz. I am the owner and co-founder of Angry Hamster Publishing. I wrote the game Witch, and I am making a video response into the awesome review that I got from Red Dice Diaries and TheRogueDM on the playtest adventure site that we had sent them. If you are watching this because you are a fan of Witch and you don't know anything about Rogue Dice Diaries and the Rogue DM, oh sorry, Red Dice Diaries and the Rogue DM, please, please, please check out their YouTube channels. They are awesome. They do so many cool things. I actually am really enjoying a Jade Punk game that they're doing right now. So if you haven't watched it, start doing it because they're really cool. First, I want to say a huge, huge, huge thank you for taking the time to read and review the playtest that we sent you. As you said, it's been a labor of love, and we're so excited to start finally bringing this to people. So to get some feedback from people that I don't know, it's fantastic. I wanted to make this YouTube, well, video response, this Hangout response, because you guys asked a few questions in your game, and I was assuming that a lot of other people who maybe watch your review as well would have the same questions. So I thought to answer them now. If you're interested in getting the playtest and you don't have it, please send me an email or contact me on Hangouts, and I'd be more than happy to show it to you. The first question that you guys asked and kind of questioned with each other was, what is the setting of Witch? Because it can appear as a very dark game, but also when you get the playtest, there's a lot of adventure in it. And I'm always a bit wary of defining games, even games that I love personally, because I don't want to put out a label on it and then someone thinks, oh no, that's not what I thought it was. But for me, and when I created Witch, my idea was that it's a story of a lot of personal horror with in the scape of a fantastic adventure that you can have. Because the life of a member of the Fated can get really dark. That's because you're selling your soul to a demon for power. And while some of these relationships can be quite positive, depending on what fate you are and the view you have on the world, it's a dark story. When the more power that you amass, the more power that you gain, the darker your life will become as your demon requests more and more from you in order to, yeah, become more powerful. So that can be quite dark for players, but it's balanced by the fact that not everything in this world is dark. Once you become fated, your eyes are kind of open to this amazing world that you've been thrown into. Well, I hope so. Um, there are new planes for you to explore. There are things that you never imagined possible happening around you. And therefore, while you narratively, as a character, you live a very dark life, there is light all around you. And I think, at least I find that when you have so many things to be excited about, when dark things happen to your character, they just get that little bit more dark because the entire world isn't suffering. Um, and it makes it kind of personal for you. So I hope that's a good view on what I believe the setting of Witch is. The second thing that you guys touched upon, and I thought it would be interesting for people who were fans of Witch to hear a bit more about, is what happens to you when you're fated and then some. Because you sell your soul to a demon, check. And then in the future, there is the possibility to try to regain your soul. However, this doesn't happen for everybody. It also depends on the type of campaign you're playing. You could be playing a very short campaign, this doesn't even come into play. But I'm the kind of person who runs, 4-year chronicles. So this is a heavy theme within my games. Um, and what I'd like to say is that while you could try to get your soul back, I think there's a lot of members of the Fated who have other goals. And this comes into play when you get into higher spell levels, depending on the powers that you want to choose and how you want your character to be. Who maybe, instead of wanting to regain their soul, want to become something more akin to the demon who fated them, who are happy not having a soul but want to live forever. And this is entirely dependent on the players that you have, what they think about the game and what they want for their character. So it can also be that you have someone who has sold their soul um, and becomes a member of the Fated and then kind of retires from this world. I can imagine that happening to a character. I mean, after you see so many things or you've done so many things yourself, you just say, you know what? I am going to try to regain my soul, but maybe not in this epic way of fighting my demon, but just in living my normal life, swearing off my powers and seeing where it takes me. So yeah, I like the epic route, of course. You know, I'm like slay that demon, but it's not for everybody, and it's really fun for players when you want to think about the type of character you have. You know, consider what's the end goal for them, and you know this is going to change too. Maybe you start out as the very pious, holy character who would never do anything wrong, and then your demon asks you, well, you know, for your next spell level, I don't need you to do anything serious for me. I don't want you to kill anybody. I don't want you to, you know, bring me the soul of your Forsborn. The only thing I want you to do is deliver this package to the train station. And you think, okay, you know, in the back of your mind, there's something screaming out, but you think, okay, I'm going to go deliver that package. And it turns out maybe there's a bomb in the package. So it's you have to balance it out, and what would that pious character think then about themselves and who they were, and maybe it turns out that their end goal completely changes because of that effect. So anyway, that's about the characters and the destiny of the Fated that I wanted to touch on. And oh, you guys talked a bit about mechanics. Of course, I'm the person who I dive into story and then I'm like, oh yeah, there's these mechanics. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that because that's something that we spend a lot of time developing. For me, story always comes very easy. I always want to add in too much. So when it came down to mechanics, I chose for a D20 system, and I think Jenny actually mentioned that in the video because it's simple and a lot of people know it. And like you said, John, for almost every roll that you need to make, it is only adding three numbers together. And for me, what I find is that anytime you roll a dice, it needs to further story and not hinder it. And therefore, I think in a game of Witch, you always need to focus on the role play and the story that you're getting out of it. And of course, the dice are there to help you with the basic things that, you know, like do I stab him in the gut or do I miss horribly? And that's something that is required and you know necessary for role play games and kind of fun. Sometimes you just want to kill things, so that's that. Now that I think that's the only things. You guys had more questions, of course, but I'm not gonna do them all in this video now. Also because you guys just did me such a service and it was fantastic watching your videos. But I do want to say one thing. If you do watch this video, I would like to invite both of you because you were so interested in what witch would look like in a normal setting or just in character creation. And there's so much that you missed from the playtest because really I just added rules into the playtest so that you could get through the story and not really give a good preview of what it is. I would like to invite you, John and Jenny, the Rogue DM and the head of Red Dice Diaries, to hang out with me live on air and create characters from the actual book that people will be funding in Kickstarter. And we'll do it from 0 to 30. We'll follow every step. And I think this will address a lot of the feedback and questions that you guys had about, you know, what is this going to look like when I play? What are the mechanics going to look like? How do I use casting? What can I use sense for? Who are these members of the Fated and why do I care about them? So yeah, that's it. I wanted to say just again, thank you so much. And everyone else who is still watching, that's amazing. And check out their YouTube channels and fund us. We're going to be on Kickstarter 1st of March 2015. And I hope to speak to you guys soon. Bye.